The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, known as NOAA, is predicting a 60% chance of an above normal hurricane season. The agency forecasting a range of 13 to 19 named storms, with 6 to 10 of those becoming hurricanes, which means winds of 74 miles per hour or higher. The 2024 hurricane season resulted in more than $182 billion in damages, according to NOAA, higher than the average annual cost for the past 5 years. We want to talk about financially preparing for the 2025 hurricane season. Here to help, we've got Bob Passmore, who is the Vice President of the American Property Casualty Insurance Association. Great to have you here with us, Bob. Just let's set the scene. Part of people's checklist for a hurricane is making sure that you have the right insurance policies in place for your home. What should homeowners be considering when reviewing their policies?
Right. Well, insurance can kind of be a set it and forget it kind of thing, but your coverage needs are going to change over time. So it's really important that you check really yearly. You look at your insurance coverages and see if your coverages are what you need, and even shopping around to see if you're getting the best deal. The first of all, one of the most important things a homeowner can do is evaluate their need for flood insurance. Flood insurance is typically not covered under a standard homeowners policy and must be purchased separately through the National Flood Insurance Program or in the private market. So so you want to do that, number one. Number two, carefully review your policy limits and your deductibles. The deductible is the amount you'll pay out of pocket if you have a claim, and make adjustments if you need to ensure you have the right amount of coverage to recover and rebuild if your property's damaged. Raising your deductible is one way to potentially lower your premium, but you need to make sure that you can afford the higher deductible and understand that any damage that falls below that deductible is going to be yours you're going to be responsible for that. You're going to have to pay that out of pocket. And make sure you understand if your policy pays for replacement cost or actual cash value. Actual cash value takes depreciation into account, and replacement cost is the amount necessary to rebuild your home with materials of like kind and quality up to the policy limits. So you want to check to see that those policy limits are sufficient to include any recent home improvements or remodels. So if you added an addition or did something, a stimulated upgrade to bathrooms or anything or kitchen or something like that, you want to make sure that your limits are there accordingly too.
What proactive measures can you take ahead of hurricane season?
Well, number one is you can look for, if you're in an area that's prone to hurricanes, do you have do you have hurricane shutters? Things that things are going to protect your home from further damage. Are you ready? Are you prepared if something like that comes? And to make sure that you can protect your property from being damaged.
So with that in mind, are there incentives for homeowners who take those mitigation steps, reducing damage from weather events?
Yeah, often they do. And that's something you want to use as part of your, insurance checkup with your agent or with the company you write with. Ask what kind of incentives are available. If you've taken steps, like let's say you added hurricane shutters or you replaced your roof or something like that, those are things you want to talk about with your company, because there may be some incentives. There might be some ways to save money on your premiums because you did those things.
In the evaluation of policies, where are the areas that homeowners can save on their insurance policies?
Yeah, well, one I mentioned was deductibles. You want to look to see what your deductible is. There are more small claims than big claims, so the first dollars of insurance are always the most expensive. So if you have a relatively low deductible, you might find, and this goes for auto insurance too, if you've got a low deductible, you could find that you might be able to save a considerable amount of money by raising your deductible. Again, the caveat to that is making sure that you're prepared. So if you have a claim, that you're prepared to pay that amount out of pocket, because you'll need that for the repairs.
Bob, thanks so much for taking the time here with us to break this down ahead of what is expected to be a very busy hurricane season. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Thanks.